So it's been a really wet and horrible day today, but it's getting just after 7 o'clock in the evening. The sun's going down, and the sun's actually started to come out and the skies are clearing. So we just decided to come down to Puerto Portals and have a look at how that looks with this VR camera. So keep watching and we'll see a bit more. Bye for now. So this is our third attempt at making a video with the 360 camera. So it's all a little bit new to us and seems to be new to many of the people who are watching this. The issue seems to be that many people try to watch on a phone, which will work, but if you watch it through Facebook it doesn't, or it doesn't seem to work as it should do, because Facebook seems to have its own viewer. So what you need to do is, if you're watching from Facebook, you've seen it on Facebook, you need to touch on the three little dots at the very top there, and it'll say something like View in YouTube app. And if you touch on that, you'll get the full 360 experience, which makes the viewing totally different. Another observation, if you're using a mobile phone in particular, is that you might not have the full quality. I think that might be a bandwidth issue, as this is in 4K, so it requires a lot of bandwidth, and I think some of the mobile phones reduce the quality so that you're not getting the full quality. So you just need to up that quality and you'll end up with a much better viewing experience, much clearer. So keep trying, and hope that all works. We're just getting down now to where the boats were. So Anita bumped into Graham Baxter from Baxter Marine, and he said that some of the owners of these wonderful boats here have actually been down for something like 2 years. They've not actually seen their boats for 2 years, and suggested that I actually walk down the quays. It's something we used to do. We used to bring the children down here. We always used to walk down and have a look at the boats.
Read the names and choose which one we would like.
And there was one at the bottom, not here now, it's called Leander, and it's one that Princess Margaret used to go on, or at least one of the Leanders, perhaps not the one that was here. So here's Oscar from London. She's got a Baxter Marine for sale sign. So if you're interested in it. And on the other side we've got Chester, another Baxter Marine. So I now understand why Graham Baxter spoke to Anita and asked if we should go down and record. He's got a few boats down here that are actually for sale, but these are very expensive boats. So if you are actually now viewing it with the 360 working, you should just be able to move the camera around by just moving the phone, or if you're using a tablet, you can just move the tablet. Sometimes you might need to swipe it with your finger. If you're watching on your computer, then it's the mouse you use. Just click and drag and you can see all the different views. If you're using a TV to watch it, I tried it on our television, and we use an Android box to view YouTube, and that seemed to work great. The picture came up perfectly, and I could use the navigation button to move around and see things. And some other people have told me that they're using their smart TVs, which allow them to watch YouTube channels, and the arrow keys on their remote control allows them to see different things. So lots of different ways of viewing these. Did have one comment from someone who was trying to watch them on a 120-inch projector. If you do that, it'll work, but the bigger you blow things up, the more they're going to be pixelated. You can only blow things up a certain amount. 120 inches is well, it's not beyond the limit, but it's obviously, especially if you zoom in. If you zoom in, then you're going to get quite a pixelated picture. So zooming out, you'll get a little bit better. You can get some strange views as well. So I hope you're enjoying these boats as we walk down to the end of this quay.
The size of these.
Some of them down here are quite huge. Where we usually have the really big boats is at the end here, or opposite us, some small boats, but on the sea wall there's quite often some very big boats, but not at the moment. I imagine they will come as the season starts. It's still only just after Easter. We're in April 2021, and we have a pandemic to deal with. GoPro, stop recording. I'm just walking back down this quay now. The sun is going down a little bit, so it is getting a little bit darker. If you haven't already seen our other 360 videos, the very first one was a walk along the Paseo Maritimo, and I do quite a lot of talking in that about the present situation, which is reasonably up to date. It's only a few days old, and then today we managed to go to Festival Park, Mallorca Fashion Outlet as it is now known, and we did a little video just walking through there, so you can see all the sorts of shops that there are. Managed to pick up some real bargains there. You get all the branded names there, and they are at considerably reduced prices, so if that's what you're looking for, it's a great place to go. I managed to get some trousers, shirt, jumpers. Anita got lots of things for the grandchildren, and of course some chocolates.
Our treat.
I'm hoping we're getting some of those tonight. So this is the same quay that we walked up. We're now just walking back down, so things might have moved around a little bit. Because it's after 5 p.m, it's now after 7 p.m. in fact, but at 5 p.m. the restaurants and the bars can no longer serve inside, so, or outside, so they're all closed up, so there's very few people around at this time, I would imagine. Just one or two people like us just out for a stroll. Bars and restaurants are not able to open on the interiors at all with the current Easter restrictions, and they've been extended for a further 2 weeks, so they'll be able to open on the terraces again only till 5 p.m, but not any interiors yet. And there are some loopholes to all of this that I've been reading about, and one which is a little bit controversial: hotels. So a hotel has a dining room where you can sit down and is inside, and they are allowed to be open, serve meals to much later in the evening. So if you're desperate to sit down, then book a hotel, stay the evening. You don't have to drive home. I can see some advantages to that. So just come to the next quay along. Again, some lovely boats, a little bit smaller along this quay, not as big as the one we've just been on. And we've not been on to the end quay yet, where the captain of the port is situated. There's some really big boats along there too. Not sure whether we're going to manage that on this trip because the light is beginning to fade a little. As I said a little bit earlier, a lot of these boats down here have not been visited for maybe 2 years. And most of them will have someone locally who maintains them and just makes sure that everything's okay. Apologies if they look a little bit dirty today. We've just had rain nearly all day, and it's that really muddy rain that we often get here in Mallorca. So went to get into my car earlier on today, and it was covered in this muddy sand. Fortunately, it rained a little bit later on and washed some of it off, but not all of it. So needs to visit the car wash. But we'll wait and see what's happening with the weather first. As you can see, perhaps in front of me, we have blue sky, so things are looking a little bit better. The weather forecast is better for tomorrow. So the plan will be maybe to get out a little bit in the morning, probably go out for lunch, and then I've got to get ready for work because Monday, Easter holiday is officially over and we'll be back at school. I'm sure all the students are eagerly waiting to get back. Some of them do actually have exams, real exams. I do GCSE and A-level, and our exams are done by Cambridge and piers and Edexcel. The Edexcel ones, which are the A-levels that we do, they've been cancelled, but the IGCSE, which is from Cambridge, have not been cancelled. So those students who are in year 11 will be doing IGCSE chemistry in about a month's time, so they will be keenly revising for the next month or so, I hope. So we've just walked up this quay, but we're going to walk down it again. I think you can pause these videos, just hit the pause button, and the 360 still works. It's certainly did on my computer, and so if you see something you're interested in, you just pause the video and then just have a look around. And if you going down and up the quays, you could look at one side going up and look at the other side going down. So here we've got the typical sort of boats that you have here, the Sunseekers, Reavers. Absolute. Some puddles on the floor. Yes. Getting my feet wet. And it's interesting as well looking to see where these boats are registered. One on the left, Glasgow, Hamburg, all sorts of different places. Southampton, another one from Hamburg, and very few of them actually from Spain or Puerto Portals. This one here with the British flag. in the video I did of the fashion Mallorca fashion outlet, I did actually slip. I didn't quite fall over, but it was close. And the last time I was walking down here, I walked into one of these bollards. Anything could happen, as long as I don't fall in the water. That wouldn't be very funny. My lace is undone. This is looking dangerous. GoPro, stop recording. So as you walk away from the first quay that we went in, you can see that the quays actually get narrower and narrower, and the boats get a little bit smaller. There's a fair line from Hamburg. These are of Stephanie. So Stephanie, if you're watching, is that one yours? Quite a lot of them have ladies' names. Here's Emma. Emma's usually the first person to like my posts on Facebook. Don't think it's that Emma, but hope you're watching this, Emma. There's another fair line. Here's a Sophia. Almost got a geography lesson. I'm going to have to look up where Flensburg is. I'm sure someone will tell me. I haven't looked it up already. And the Wanderer from London. And one from Guernsey. Guernsey has a soft spot for us. We used to spend a lot of time in Guernsey back in the early 1980s, no, 1970s and 1980s actually. And I have a story to tell you about that, but that's for another video. Here we've got a Pershing. Spectre. Notice one or two boats have 007 James Bond related names. There's a Spectre we've just seen, and in the past we've actually had in Puerto Portals Octopussy. Okay, so we'll stop here for a second or two, and then we'll just walk back down this narrow quay and we'll try the next one. Don't forget, if you spot anything interesting, just pause the video, pan around, and you can zoom in and zoom out. It's really clever technology, and it's not only going to be our third video using this, so I can imagine lots of interesting possibilities, going to different places and showing you totally different types of views of places here in Mallorca. If you haven't quite got it yet, then keep trying, because once you've got to see this, it is quite amazing. And the real way to watch them, of course, is with a VR headset, virtual reality headset, a VR headset, which has two screens, one for each eye. And there's two different types you can have. One where you simply put your mobile phone in, and they can be as cheap as 10 euros or less. Or you can go for the expensive one, which is virtually a computer with 2 high-definition screens, and you can watch those without a phone. So if you're using one of those, you get the total immersion. You can move around. It might be a good idea to sit down though and let me do the walking, rather than trying to stand up with one of those. Do you hear reports of people getting dizzy because you can't control the movement, because I'm controlling the movement because I'm walking. So for those, probably better to sit down. You can still turn your head and see the different views. I don't have one of these VR headsets yet. It's on my list of things to purchase. I just haven't got around to it yet. My daughter in the UK has one, and they can tell me that you see some amazing stuff using these headsets. So when I do eventually get one, I'll report back to you all, let you know what's going on. I'm just trying to avoid these bollards, which I tripped over last time I was down here. Coming up to another quay. GoPro, stop recording. So this is P4, we're walking up now. You see they're quite narrow down here. So smaller boats here, a lot of them are owned by people who live locally, and so they'll come down and maintain their boats or go out on the boats when the weather is suited. Today was not one of those days. Today the weather was a little bit grey.
Hi darling, we're just walking down by the boats in Portals.
So Anita's on the phone already.
Where are you?
Someone. I'll walk ahead, let her chat.
Oh right. You were going to come see us, were you?
This is our son, I think, who's been out canyoning today. He takes his GoPro canyoning.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit dangerous, so Anita likes to keep tabs on him, make sure he gets back home all right.
Daddy's got to go over to John's at about midday just to take his stuff
So,
over. Right, you'll be in soon, won't you?
near to the end of this walkway.
And then we'll go somewhere for lunch, all right? That'd be lovely. Yeah, we'll sort something out, don't worry. Yeah, we might do that. And I've got
Here's one which has actually got Puerto Portals written on it. Another one from Manchester.
okay, darling, look.
Another one that says Palma de Mallorca.
Bye.
Mariposa. Butterfly. And at the end, one of the bigger boats. I can't see the name on the side of that one. You'd have to look around the edge. But see the sun is going down in the sky now. We get a different sort of lighting. GoPro, stop recording. So we'll just walk back down this quay now. Again, if you want to pause to have a look at any of the boats, just pause it and then use the 360 facility to have a look around. El Dorado, that's what we're all looking for. One from Poole in Dorset, white caps. many of us have this romantic view that it's nice to have a boat. The reality of having a boat is that it's quite an expensive item to have and to maintain, and just to moor it. So these boats, if they've been sitting here for 2 years and you've never actually used it, you still have to pay the rental for the moorings here, and you then have to employ someone to do the day-to-day maintenance, keeping it clean and making sure that it's safe from damage from when we have a storm. So yeah, nice but expensive. When we first moved to Mallorca, this port didn't exist. We moved to Mallorca in 1985, and we actually moved to Portals to live in the November, I think it was, of 1985, and this port didn't exist. We used to come down to what's now the sandy beach associated to the port, and there was no sand there. It was just a narrow strip of pebbles. And then they started to build the port, and as you can imagine, it's been quite a lot of building work to build a port like this from nothing. And so that happened while we were living here. All the big diggers bringing in all these rocks, all the rocks, remember rocks being brought in. So the lorry would come and deliver one rock for the sea wall. This is Pier 5 we're walking up now. Few empty spaces here, and as these are for the smaller boats, I imagine many of them are just taken out of the water. If you know you can't use the boat, then why pay for a mooring when it can be taken out and put on some hard standing somewhere? I imagine some of the boats have gone for that reason. Certainly in the summertime you don't find any empty mooring spaces, and they're few and far between for people to obtain. Some of the bigger boats during the winter time go across to the other side of the Atlantic, to the Caribbean, and they're usually taken by ship. So there is a cargo vessel which actually takes these huge vessels out of the water and takes them across the Atlantic. And if it was last year or the year before, one of them partially capsized with all of these boats on board in Palma. Very expensive accident. At the end now of Pier 5, sorry, and the sun is really coming out now. Just before it sets, the clouds have cleared a little. GoPro, stop recording. We just turned around now, we're walking back down Pier 5. If you do see anything of interest or you've got any questions, then please leave the comments in the YouTube channel. That's where it's easy for me to find them. If you leave them on anywhere else, on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere, I'll probably lose them and won't be able to answer you. So YouTube, underneath the video there's space for comments, and that's a great place to leave comments, and everybody else can see your comments as well. It's always interesting to see what other people are saying about the videos, and some people have got some information to offer as well, so that's always useful. So Puerto Portals caters for all different sorts of boats, from the really luxurious ones to the more of the day tripping versions, and all nationalities. So particularly people from Britain have not really had the opportunity. It's not been legal actually for them to travel to Mallorca. We've just had a lot of Germans here on the island, the Easter holidays. Most of them have now returned, and from what I'm hearing, some of them came to the east coast, and hotels opened up especially, but now they've gone. There's no reason to be open, so they've closed again, and it's not sure when or if they're going to reopen. So what seemed to be good news at the time has faded away. So we're just coming up to Pier 6. This will be the last pier, I think, that we'll be able to go up, and then we can have a look to see what has happened at the new development. GoPro, stop recording. So this is Pier 6, and now you can see some quite small boats, and many of these will be locally owned. To my left, as we're walking up here, you can see some of the types of hard standing. This is hard standing within the port. The hard standing is not always within the port. Some of these boats get put onto low loaders and taken off somewhere else. I don't know where they go, to be stored during the winter, and then they can be brought back and put in the water. There we've got a multi-storey storage facility on my left. All the jet skis. They've become very popular here in recent years. The jet skis, some of them come very close to where the bathers are, which is a bit concerning. This is the famous Sea-Doo. There's one for sale if you're interested. 5,800 euros. From 2005. Just coming to the end of Pier 6 and virtually the end of the marina. GoPro, stop recording. So now walk back down, and if you're viewing from the same angle as I'm walking, you'll see the new block, which I didn't actually know about, and somebody asked me to come down to Puerto Portals to show what was happening, what the progress was of this new block that's being built. And I tried to video it from near to the church, and I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And then somebody said, well, you've got to go down because you can't see it from the church. Indeed you can't, but When we came down, we could see the work that was going on, and it was all fenced off and hidden behind a fence which was about 2 meters high. That's now been changed for a fence. There's still a fence there, but it's one that we can actually see through, and we can now start to see the progress. Some people were saying that they're never going to finish that before the season. Well, it's looking very, very near to completion.
Looks as if it's always been there.
It does. It's fitting in very much with the surroundings. And as I was walking down, I was wondering where it had gone, but yes, it is fitting in with the existing structures that are here. The glass is in, so it'll be a lot of interior work now. Even the car parking area has now been completed outside, so I'm quite impressed with that. GoPro, stop recording. Share it with your friends, let everybody have a look, and try and explain to them how it all works. And give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. So bye for now.
Bye.
GoPro, stop recording. So I'm just going to cross over, get a little bit closer to it, and yeah, it's looking really good. This wasn't complete before, we couldn't see any of this. The work is looking very close to completion. So if you were worried about how the work was progressing, I think you don't need to worry. There's some work on the opposite side of the road. So a big hole there before, and there's still a big hole there now. In the last video we did, so check out our videos on Puerto Portals, you'll be able to see the progress that's been made. We did in fact go down into the car park from this building here just to my left, and there's now quite a big underground car park. So, super progress has been made here. Just take a look behind as well. Still some work to do, but this is a vast improvement, and I think it's only I don't know how many weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so since we were last down here. So just by watching the different videos you can see the progress that's been made over the past few months, and it seems to be quite rapid now. Start to see inside some of the locales. There's a lot of water standing on the floor here from all the rain we had today. It was very wet indeed. So new walkways here. We're having to walk on the road. The parking, if you didn't know about the parking, there's now a huge underground car park, which is excellent for Puerto Portals. I've always suffered a little bit from parking, particularly in the height of the season. More cars than car parking facilities, so that underground car park is quite amazing. It's just very good that we don't have tides in the Mediterranean. it must be very, very close to sea level. Just walk down here. Sometimes in the past we've tried to walk down these alleys and there's been people doing work. So there's a lot of maintenance work, construction work going on. So it's not always possible. And all the restaurants, of course, are closed. Now it's now 10 to 8. You can get a takeaway. There's a Chinese there that's it's closed. You can't actually sit inside or outside, but you can go and get yourself a takeaway. This will be an interesting test for this new camera to see what the low light situation is. There's a lot of shade here as the sun goes down, and we have a thick covering of trees. Not really expecting brilliant results from low light situations. See how it looks. I do really appreciate the comments that people make, tell me what things are right, what things are wrong, and sometimes I can help. For example, changing the quality when you're using a phone makes a huge difference in how these videos look, and also viewing directly in YouTube. If you don't view them in YouTube, then some of the facilities might not be available. Facebook doesn't seem to be able to show you the 360 views, so things start to look a little bit strange. And don't hit that VR button. If you see a VR button, you only need to hit that if you're going to actually use it in a VR headset. Otherwise you do get some strange views, and you'll see two of Anita, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I can only cope with one though. We've just done now a nice little circular trip. I'm going to be walking into the setting sun, which could be interesting as far as the video is concerned. Not sure how it copes with that sort of lighting. So normally it's Saturday evening, so even at this time of the year, Puerto Portals would be much busier than it is. But there's nobody here because there's nothing open. All the bars and restaurants are closed. Shops mostly closed. If there is anybody here, they're probably just doing some work that they need to do to get it ready for when people do start to arrive. There's Baxter Marine's van, and we're just getting to Wellies. But again, Wellies closed. And the staff, because they're there packing up to go home. So we hope you've enjoyed this video, and hope the 360s are starting to work for you. We do intend to do a lot more 360 videos, so it's to your advantage to get it to work. If you have liked it, don't forget to share it with your friends, let everybody have a look, and try and explain to them how it all works. And give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next video. So bye for now.
Bye.
GoPro, stop recording.